to Blue Hour Podcast, where we explore visionary artists and creators who use their craft to heal the world. Today we are privileged to have Arico, an artist whose cosmic exploration has led to transformative creations that transcend mere artwork. Her artistic journey embodies healing and transformation. Her art is a conduit for translating profound astral and interdimensional experiences into tangible forms that resonate deeply with the viewer. Through her paintings, sculptures, and immersive works, she seeks to heal the human psyche and elevate consciousness. So thanks for accepting this a bit last-minute podcast journey.
Thanks to you.
It's good. We just finished having a little Astro Tarot chat. So I think maybe you could start by describing briefly like the past work you've been doing in the past few years, like what has been the main conducting line, like what connected them all.
I think in the past few years I was exploring a bit more in a deeper way the visions that I sometimes receive or the places I go into dream in the dream world. So trying to find some codes, some recurrent things that I see or places that I would go, try to find the link in between all of this and kind of creating a map so that I can relate and that I can also share with the world. And it's been all about that, trying to find some missing links.
And so like it was kind of a research that was not necessarily, you didn't have a specific thing that you were looking for, but you were just trying to, as it came, connect them. So would you say that something came out? Like did you find the missing link?
I think it's gonna be a constant research, but some aspects and some things that are always coming back are things related to Atlantis. And I think since I'm very young, I always been attracted to Atlantis, and I don't know, I didn't do many research about it. Things just come, the name or feelings, or for the few that I know about this, I can sense there's a great connection, and I feel going into the dream world, other dimensions, and I feel this is all connected to this place, and that we can also find in ourselves. And so I think it's been a way to remember about Atlantis and to transmit the messages and codes that I receive from this sacred place. And
because I've seen a bit of your art, there's a lot of like almost underwater landscapes, a lot of aqua, like bluish colors. So like this as a symbol itself, but is there other types of codes, that some like shapes and I don't know, other things that kind of came and you were like, oh, I don't know what this is, but that's where it goes?
Yes, I think now what has been very calling strongly is everything about shells and nacre.
Nacre?
Le nacre.
Ah,
I don't know
okay.
how to say
is that the
English.
color of the shell?
Inside the shell, yeah.
Okay.
I think I have
like the texture
here.
Inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
All of this has been really calling, and I feel it's all related also to Atlantis, because the way I see it is it was a lot of structures, architecture was made of it, and it was because it was a place where communication would often go through water, and so I think I'm exploring a bit more about the connection we have with water, shells, and how shells are also tools to ground us and protect us while we're traveling in other places. So
as if like in a visualization, you kind of imagine yourself in this shell that helps you, like I guess, transcend some certain psychic boundaries kind of thing.
Exactly, because the shell is like, it has a protection, it gives medicine, it gives energy, and so I feel this connection, because it's like I can sense there's something to explore there, and it really helps to travel better, and I want to focus on.
When you're saying that, like I just kind of am. Like something is resonating, you know, when you look at these iridescent colors.
Yes.
It's almost like a rainbow, because you have like,
It
depending
is.
how you see all the colors.
Mm-hmm.
And in many traditions, like in the East, the first goal of a yogi is to create his rainbow body.
His rainbow body, yes.
And in the West, they have another name for this. What is it called? Like the light body, I think, simply. So that you can like almost be protected, like on all the energetic levels, to go even deeper inside the hidden channels of the psyche, almost.
Exactly.
So like it kind of makes sense. Like I get, like it feels, it resonates. I don't know how,
right?
but like.
And it's like in many people, they use also the shells for calling, for also instruments, true. And to assemble, sound, and so, and through travel, communication through sound. And since it's coming from the water, it's like sound, water, and this texture. There's something to explore with this.
Yeah. It's funny because I've had a lot of visions also that happen underwater.
Yeah.
And different like breakthroughs came to me like in the past few years about like how like Atlantis, yes, underwater, but I do feel like right now, you and I, everyone in the world, we are underwater.
Yeah.
Like there's water in the air. We're made of water mainly, and sound travels through this airy water, like aquarian water almost. And the technologies of water, like we're entering this age of Aquarius. Aquarius is not a water sign, but it's the water part of air.
Yeah.
Because every telecommunication happens through this etheric field.
Exactly.
Like the electromagnetic field, which is how like water absorbs electricity and travels through it. So I don't know, I think there's something there, like
exactly.
Like I'm just imagining what the next technologies will be, like I don't know, like transferring your thoughts inside whatever machine that's somewhere else in the world, and then it receives your mind signals and transforms it, like telepathy, totally. And stuff like that.
Totally. Telepathy is like one thing that's coming, I feel. We had it before, we just forget about it, but all this communication around water, because the water keeps the messages and it keeps the codes and it keeps the... There's a certain magic in initiations. You go inside a certain water and then you come out and then you are something else. And it's very it's very vivid and beautiful experience. And what I saw in a dream, I had this kind of vision of being in a tunnel with all made of this texture, and the tunnel had different caves that you could go in, and it was water coming in the middle. And it was the way of communication around a certain territory, a huge territory. Okay. And like people would spread the message in the water, and it would spread it in the place that it needed to be received.
Okay.
And it's a bit like the colonne vertébrale.
Yeah, the vertebrae.
Yeah, like it's a bit the same kind of structures, because we also, it's like the passage.
Yeah, the highway of energy.
The highway, exactly. So I saw this kind of highway of the earth in a beautiful line, and it was all made of...
Did you paint this?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet, because it's so precise. I really want to find the best way to represent it, and to be closer to these shells. So for now, I'm kind of exploring the properties, and this for sure will come out at the right moment. But it was received from a blue being, and then
in your mental like space, you saw this being.
Yeah, and this being was saying something like about this line, that there was many of these lines on Earth, and they just they're simply there. They're just on another frequency, and they want to come back. And so
like energetic cords that are like some energetic places on Earth,
exactly,
that have been maybe lost and are not maintained,
exactly, or have been like just waiting patiently for a better time to come back. And
I wonder if have you heard of Göbekli Tepe?
Yes,
I wonder if that was one.
I think so.
This cord that's connecting like some astral spaces
totally
through this portal.
Totally. All these portals are kind of reactivating now. People get more interested in it, and the activators, they are called to these places, and it's part of this great shift that we're living in. And the great message was to go back to water, to go back to the respecting the water, honoring water, clearing the water.
And I think it relates to like a lot of things I've been exploring in my own work, is like about rebalancing the over dominance of the masculine energy on Earth with the more feminine receptive energy to create the balance between both. Because now it's like obviously like not working out for us, right? Like
totally.
Like so makes sense, like coming back to the feminine, to the intuition, the emotional body, which is connected with the astral body, which is connected with water, and the moon, which is in your first house.
Yes.
It's part of your core personality.
Yeah, truly.
So lots of your paintings come from these kind of experiences that you see within. And like for people that feel like they have a calling, their intuition is heightened, but like might be fearful of these places, might not know how to fully open it, or might be afraid to open it because they're afraid they can't close it.
Yeah.
Have you do you have any like tips for these people, or like from your own journey?
From my own journey, I feel it's like the danger that can come, if we can say this, is like only the danger that you allow to yourself. And it's like you can explore and you can go in these places because it's accessible to everyone. It's just that we forgot that we could be these travelers, dream travelers, and because it was used way before, and people would communicate through dreams and telepathically. It goes with that also. And so it's just a question of remembering, and by this remembering, when you travel, you can simply, if you fear something or something is too much, you can simply choose. As we choose everything here in this reality, we can also choose to go or not go, or to meet this being that seems dark. We can also talk to these beings, and sometimes they have a different language, but it's all inside us. We already know. It's just the more you fear, the more you block also these things. And if you feel that something really, let's say, tremendous happened, then the best way is just to integrate, to talk about it, and to put it in art, or put it in this reality, so that when you see it in this reality as an object or as something, then you can understand it better because you give it a shape. So if you live something that's really traumatizing in another place, you bring it back here and you look at it, and then you see all the angles. And by understanding this, and it's like seeing it as child when they discover things, like they take it, they can analyze the shape and the form and the texture, and when you do this, you allow yourself to understand it, and then you can integrate, and then you can see, was it really scary, or was it more triggering something in me that I didn't resolve. And after that, your travelings become more clear, and then you allow yourself to just visit and go to the places that are really calling, instead of maybe being lost in this fear environment, because if you go into fear when you travel, of course that's what you're gonna meet. And it's a distraction from the place you really need to see.
Yeah, or do you think, I'm curious to know, like, when you channel something, do you think it is always because you need to see that place? Like, that's why it's presented to you? Like, it's meaningful all the time, or sometimes you just go there and there's just no bigger reason?
I think when the most powerful that I have is always for a reason, and always for showing me this place that I need to bring back, I feel, and to show. But sometimes I go to places and yes, it doesn't mean anything, but it's less, you feel it when it's like less important.
And how would you describe it? Like, is it a sensation, or
is
it?
It's a sensation, and it's like the context of it, like the places that are really important usually are the most simple or less crowded, because the message needs to be clear. And so sometimes I'm in places and there's a lot of people and there's like wah, things happening, and then you have friends there, and you just have to live this moment in this other dimension. But when there's a big message, super clear, less distraction, less plants, or less other beings. It's just like most of the time I'm like higher on a mountain, and then I see
bird's eye view of the
and there's always like this, because there's codes everywhere, and usually it's like I'm with only 2 other people, so we are 3 in the dreams. Like the Trinity comes back often, and it's like really simple.
So there's always like 3 items, 3 symbols.
3 items, or then we are 3 living something, and then there's another figure that comes and show us the way, or show us more precisely.
And you think it's because symbolically, like, the 3 is like the triangle, and it's the first shape that has like an inner dimension. So you can like triangulate the message to get the it's not a circle, right? So it's, you don't get the full picture, but it's the quickest way to understand something.
Exactly.
A line, you don't know, it's just like a stroke, but like a triangle, you get a piece of the circle, more of the area of the circle.
Exactly.
To bring back, so it's the quickest way to get information.
Totally.
So I don't know if that's connected, but
it is. I think because the number 3 is so powerful in the mind, and it's a encoding things, and so you see this Trinity, you're with 2 other people, and then it's easier to remember, because each people that you are in carry some characteristics, let's say.
Like in the tarot.
Exactly.
They represent a certain like flavor, you know.
Totally.
That when you combine with the other symbol and the other one, then together they create something very very colorful, like very.
Exactly, and then you see this shape, and it's really easy to elevate and then construct this, the prism, the pyramid, or something like this, and then you can see the circle, and then the square, and it's a map. So every time it's most of the visions represent a map, a piece of land, a piece of something that we can put back together.
And specifically from what your experience is there one that's more complex that you feel is like very important, and that you've uncoded pretty much everything, or you still need to work with? Like, is there one that stands out?
Yes, there's one. There's many, but there's one that is still, I didn't represent it yet. Actually, there's 2, and then the first one is I was in a like a big conference. And I was with one of my friend, and we were talking about what we were doing in our creative process, and it was like people had headphones, and we would speak through a microphone, so everybody hears, but inside it's silence, like you just hear the person talk. And then in this place, this room, we were all sitting in a circle, and so I was talking, and then I ended my conference, and then a woman came to me and she said, what can you say about this? And then she showed me an image, and it was a person that was being uplifted by many other person, and there was a light coming, and then all the person were kind of luminous, but this person at the center was even more, and there was a cord like coming out of his head, and I said, well, yeah, it's the cord, it's the cord. And then what she was showing me, this image was really old, like gravure, etching.
Yeah, etching.
Not etching. And then it was really old, and then I recognized I didn't know until she showed me, but automatically I said, this is the cord, and it's like a process of, for me it was the image of the collective bringing light to someone or something, or an idea, a new idea, or a new someone, but that this someone was connected with, let's call it the divine, and then would bring directly these messages. It's like, let's say, the birth of a new Messiah or something.
Yeah. And how many people were they?
They were like 12, of course, and then but I felt it was every people that were uplifting the person were part of something bigger. They were all chosen to be there and to uplift this person. And was it really a person, or more like uplifting a certain message?
Yeah.
And this is still, and it happened, I was asleep for like 30 minutes. It happened in this window frame of sleep, and it was so vivid, and I draw the I don't know where it is now, but I draw it, and it was resonating with conversation also about a new paradigm, a new era. And this was quite interesting.
Yeah, it's funny that like the beginning of my journey with Rose Umbra is this kind of calling I had about this new era. So that's how it kind of got introduced to me, is to this new age of Aquarius. The Egyptians call it the age of Horus. And right now we're kind of like in the middle of the transition, like almost like at the peak of the transition where the line crosses over to the next.
Yeah.
This transition happened, like some say it's been going on for 150 years or more.
Yeah.
So like right now it's like transition, it's more and more intense, and now we're like in almost at the most intense part before it starts slowly to slow down until we get to this new.
Yes, exactly.
But with Rose Umbra, like that's kind of like the purpose, right? It's I've been kind of guided to understand that creators like you, like all the people that will be on this podcast, have a unique purpose, because already they've been called to create something new, but out of channeled things. So like Debbie, she was like wanting to heal but bigger groups of people through her art.
Exactly.
A bigger message.
Yeah.
So, and the 12 disciples, well, the 12 people, 12 disciples, 12 zodiacs.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the 12 aspects of the God, the chosen, like man God, that represents this new aeon. And I think like you can divide those 12 like parts of the pie of the circle into infinite numbers.
Yeah.
And I think creators, we are each 1%, like our one fraction of the pie, And through this collective movement that I wish to create is to allow more people to understand that themselves are also these creators that are powerfully able to use their gift and let go of their ego so that they can become channels that will bring one part of the code for this this new vision of humanity to be able to be formed and understood.
Yes.
And so I hope with Rosenberg that over time, over all the small steps that I'm being guided to do, it starts to give a bigger fraction so that people get, okay, yeah, well, this is part of it. And so slowly we can start.
Of course.
And most of it also is to empower like artists to know that they have the power to change things.
Yes.
And it's not through like, yes, manifestation, all this is important, but it's mentalities that needs to change. And yes, manifestation and stuff like can do that, but through the energetic realm that is above the physical realm, the physical actions, that is a lot quicker to change mentalities. And we do that through encoding our art and through projecting it through our art, these new frequencies.
Yeah, totally.
So that's why this podcast for me is like my new, like I'm really passionate about it. And
amazing.
And I'm, so I think like this message that you channeled, it's so important that it's like painted and then shown.
Yeah, I think so.
And shared.
I'm still thinking about the form. I feel it should be like really big because it really looked it already happened before, and it's just like now it's re-happening, and we can all be, everyone can be this thing that is being uplifted, and we can all tap into this, because there's no the illusion of a chosen one or something like that. It's an illusion, and some people fall into it and they say, I want to be this, I'm gonna be like a chosen one or something like that. It's also a trap, because
it's an ego trap.
It's a big ego trap, and unfortunately there's a lot of things that are channeling or are directly directed to this trap, this particular trap. And it's just a way that to show that because of the cord we are already all connected, so we can all be at the same time this person that uplift, this person that is uplifted. We can be only this cord traveling into and then meeting and sending them and receiving the codes through this cord. And it's like it's just for me it's just creating like this net, and the net is, you can go out of it or inside, and then you can always choose, because you are part of it, you are using it, you are forming it, so you can also get out of it. And it's just all the net is going up to this matter that we are all made of. And so that was just a beautiful image, I think, to
it's like a symbol of something that you see. You would see it in like whatever art gallery on the internet. You would not necessarily understand rationally the intricacies that all that it implies, but intuitively you pick up on what it like on a soul level, what it represents. It can open up some inner space in you, like a seed that you would plant.
Exactly. And at just a pure visual level, you would see this, and you can understand that also a great message that is on this earth. There's very few things that you can achieve alone, and you can achieve even more with the help of others, and that's the beautiful connection message that I see from just this visual, that you get uplifted like this. We all need others, and because we're made of this this sense of wanting to connect, and sometimes because of some structures that are installed here, we kind of forget the importance to connect. And it's just a beautiful image to like, let's go people, connect and uplift.
And the thing is, we are always
yourself.
connecting with others.
Yeah.
But like if you have an ego, I feel like the connection is just unhealthy in the sense like if you have an ego, you will believe that you deserve something more than the other. So so the connection will be, let's say, a money transaction, you know.
Yeah.
It's the connection. It's still a connection, but you're taking something from someone, thinking that you deserve it more than you.
Yeah.
It amplifies your sense of power. But it's still a connection. It's just an unhealthy one.
Yeah,
so we cannot live without all these micro connections in life, you know, unless you're in the jungle. But even then, like you can't really have an ego anymore because you're still connected with nature and dependent on it to survive.
Exactly.
So it's just an illusion. The ego is the Gnostics call it like the Gnostics say we don't have one ego, we have egos, and it's all these little voices in our head that make us crave something and want something that we don't have.
Yeah, exactly.
And feel like we need it. And then if you need it like enough, you will step over people to get it. But this thing, and they came out, the tarot, we did a little tarot before, and it mentions also this, that like sometimes it doesn't have to be a big thing, right? But I think we can maybe talk about that a little bit. Yeah. As a channel, like I guess a challenge I can come up is distortion. It's like a vessel or a cord, and you want it to vibrate at the right frequency. And if it's too tight, it doesn't ring at the right frequency. If it's too loose, same thing. And so what makes it out of tune? Well, I think it could be like desires and something that makes your ego activated. So you might be channeling it, but it's distorted by something that external to you, a voice in your head, you know.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
so I don't know, like how has been your experience of that? Like, because I don't know if people that are mediums will watch this, or but perhaps we're collectively all raising our consciousness, so I guess more and more people will maybe get to experience this. So I don't know.
Well, for when I was the most confronted to this ego that is like pushing us to some desires, and then we're like, maybe years later you realize, why did I do this, or why did I wanted this thing? And it can be like not really a thing, but like not really material, but also in relationships. And I feel in 2018 something happened to me that I felt I died and I was reborn. And then it's not like to get rid of the ego, because the ego also, when you understand the source of the desires that it projects to you, then you can understand or have a bit more like I will say control, but more like understanding the source. Then you live it in a different way. And then you can choose, okay, do I do it? I know where it's coming from. Do I go there or no? And then everything becomes more of a learning than something that happens to you. It's like a way to like, okay, maybe I didn't really accept this part of me yet, and maybe I go there blindly, but I know the source, so I know that I go there again, but I make step to maybe for the next time to not go there, or to be like more to be driving a bit more with clarity, even with the ego that's there and still like governing some parts of the life. But then you learn to drive better or surf the wave better, because it's always a learning. And when you get completely rid of the ego, then you're in your rainbow body, and You're like
Yeah.
floating, and you're something else.
But which is not the life purpose of any humans, right? Because
It can be, but it can be, but
well, you have to come back, because otherwise, why would you have
Anyway.
incarnated in
Yes.
this body if you're not taking action? You're here to take action, because
Exactly.
to move like matter and like.
Exactly.
But if you're born and you just leave and you never come back, then what's the point to incarnate? You're not helping anyone or whatever. You know what I mean? You could just stay there and
Yeah,
and move
probably.
stuff from there instead.
Probably the people who ascend, they stay there, and they are in another place, and the big challenge on Earth is to play this game of the
Yeah,
Earth.
exactly.
And so when you understand this, then you can navigate better and be less affected by things that are like you were saying, a bit like distortion of this way of openness. So it becomes more clear, and it becomes easier, and it becomes a way to just rise and be yourself, and then what happens.
Yeah.
You attain like a certain resilience through things.
Yeah, totally. Like, I think that's what it does when you have the power of self-reflection also. And you learn that, and then the first time you learn it's hard, but after that it just becomes like a natural thing.
Wow.
Oh.
They're talking to us.
Does it do that sometimes?
Yes, there's many things happening in this place. But good things, it's like a little joke.
Okay. We can keep it like this. We can be like under the candlelight for just this last segment. And I think I had a question in mind, and it's relevant to this. The hermit card that you had.
Wow, yes.
So being a hermit, being in the shadow for a while, being like removing yourself from the light for a little bit. Yeah. Like in this day and age, it is tricky, especially if you live in a city. You have lots of things going on you every time. No, like nature, like especially in the winter.
Yeah.
But like I think it is important to retreat, because these moments of self-reflection cannot happen. You cannot digest information if you're always consuming new one.
Exactly.
You'll just flood your body, and you just won't get the message that is intended to be digested and birthed out of you.
Exactly.
So like it is a tricky situation. Like we have to work, we have to do stuff. But how do you manage this to take time to do that?
I think it was also in the past few years I understood that I needed this time to be alone, and I had visions and dreams and many experiences that they were all aligning to this point of just go alone, just do it, whatever. Like I was like resisting to just leave and go alone, and then I did some trips. It started like maybe a month and a half, 2 months. And then every time that I took this decision to go and to listen to this call to be a bit more alone and away from my own distractions of having this life here, like you say, in the city, and like there's friends, there's family, there's events, there's also different way of creating, because somehow you feel like, okay, I should be creating, and then you create for the wrong reasons. So I got away from this, and then when I feel the call, then I listen and I go, and that's why sometimes some people ask me, what you gonna do in, I don't know, the next few months, and I'm like, I have no idea, but I won't be here. I don't know where I'll be, but I'll be somewhere, because I feel this call to go. And this winter, I think it's gonna be the longer one. Like I feel 3 months is gonna be what I need, and I feel the call to just be in some place where you're purely connecting with nature,
Mm-hmm.
and just in a more simple way of living. So the call to go live in nature happen, of course, for many of us, and many people they want to go back to basics.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's so vibrating, and every time I talk about it, it's like I feel this freshness that's coming, because there's been too much distraction in the big cities, and so it's really hard to keep track, and it's taking a lot of energy. And so that's where the distortions happen. And there's ways to be like more centered, but I feel just a break of 3 months, and then I go back, and I like this balance, between the two, because there's always good things in here, in the environment that you create.
So for you, like, going in nature is a way to facilitate being alone.
Totally.
Like,
yes, I trust nature, and I'm like, there's like all these nice spirits that are there, and I feel like everything is there. It's like all the ways are open, and it's more easy, and it's where I feel the more at ease, and I feel the more at myself.
Your Sun, your Mercury, your Jupiter, all in Taurus. Taurus is like Mother Nature. It's like that is your connection, and it is in your dharma as well, your life purpose. So somehow your life purpose will come with an interaction also with this energy. So
that's
like
interesting.
it's almost for you with your moon in the first house too, like we say like go alone in nature, but for you going there is to not be alone.
Yes, exactly.
Like, because when you're in the city, you're kind of more alone.
Exactly.
Because your mind is always open to all the things that are, but in the city there's less of these interactions. Well, in nature, every plant has its spirit, and everything is kind of more alive, so it's like a reverse situation for you.
It's exactly like this, exactly.
But at least it's like a more pure energy, and so like of course your channels also will receive this more subtle energy, and I'm sure like being grounded as well, like directly on the earth, helps you to for the energy to flow freely. Without these concrete cities.
And many people told me, because it's since these travelings, they happen every night, it's like when I'm not grounded and when I'm unstable because of all of the distractions of the city, like the noise, the people, and everything that's there to like make me float even more, because the floating is really easily, and I go really easily, then it's harder for me to come back. So it was when all of this spiritual ways came back to me, this was the challenge, to stay grounded and to travel. But the more you're grounded, the more you travel better. And so when I understood this, I reconnected a lot more with nature, and now it everything aligned to this point now that I just want to go live in nature, and like things are preparing, and I feel it's gonna be soon, or I can also navigate to this balance between living in very like nature in far away places, and then come back a bit and then go.
That's a good lifestyle. To end, do you have anything that you wished I had asked you, or that you want to like just share with anyone that's watching, other visionary artists or creators, or people that want to start this creative journey, like, or any one of those questions, just like a last message you have?
I think your questions were amazing, and it's really an honor to share with you, because also I really admire your work. And I would say to people who are exploring this, feeling all of these things, is to not fear their own talent, because sometimes it's like a restriction to everything that you can do. And it's like, oh, I shouldn't do this, it won't be understood or something like
That's
that.
a good point, yeah.
Don't think about what people are gonna think of it, and actually don't think, just like do it and just like put it out, and what's coming out is, it can be beautiful, it can be ugly, it doesn't matter, because it's just
it's about creating,
it's the power of creation, and you tap into it, and what comes out is sometimes different than what you have in mind, but for me, like this creation ways, it just go with this alignment. It's not just the mind, it's like the heart, intuition.
Helps circulate the energy, right? Like you feel something inside, it becomes a vision, you put it out, you reflect back at it, and it starts the kind of energetic engine to start moving.
Yes, exactly.
And empowering you to create more and be more confident in who you are. And
exactly. It's an exchange, and don't fear to show too much of yourself, because the being an artist, a creator, is all about vulnerability, and if you're not there with yourself, then what you're gonna create is sort of gonna come out in distorted ways. So the vulnerability, and it's okay to show the world who you are. It's totally okay, because in the end, does it really matter?
Very good advice. And do you want to just tell us, like, to finish, what shows you have coming, where people can see your work, your website, Instagram, all the stuff?
Yes, you can check my website. I post some new works that I'm doing with natural pigments. My Instagram is also very active, and I have now the Dream Tower that is open for people
that
who
will be filmed. You're
gonna experiment it. And the Dream Tower is like this place where you can reconnect, and so if people are interested to.
So what's your Instagram name?
Instagram is Arico, Arico .ELLE.
And your website?
Website is aricote.com.
Perfect.
Voilà.
Well, thank you so much for
Thanks
this. Very amazing. Like, I have not had the chance to like go very deep inside your mind and understand. I always was attracted by these watery landscapes that I kind of connect to myself.
Yeah.
But I had never had the time to pick your brain on it and like see the depth of it. So thank you so much for this, and I'm sure a lot of people will find this very inspiring as well. So thanks for taking the